Okay, Saturday, June 14th, 2024. Just getting out of the building here. Just bad luck here. We have a noisy airplane overhead, but it's already gone. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? Let's see what I wrote some notes. So one of the viewers wanted to do some questions. So just wanted me to answer a few questions about things. So he was telling me, on LinkedIn chat, the best way to get a hold of me is by LinkedIn. Oh man, it's already raining. I'll have to go duck under some trees or something. Hopefully it's not lightning. Or see if I do the video down in the parking garage. That's another, it's all locked up here. Otherwise, I was thinking I could go down in the parking garage, but it wouldn't be very scenic for y'all. But okay, yeah, one of the viewers asks, or telling me a story about someone got a job in Norway, as an electrician, and his wife didn't like it, so they ended up moving to Romania. They were Americans, and she got a bad vibe in Norway, and she pressed her husband, and they went to Bucharest, and now they're living there and working there. And he's wondering why that happened, because Norway has all this, all these ratings as the happiest country. Pay is pretty good, and I can attest to a lot of that. It's clean. It's not, it's efficient. The jobs are pretty good. It's a very humane place. It's a very good place to live. But, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not there, in addition to the questionable education system or indoctrination system, what might have given her the bad vibe in Norway or something. When you live in Norway, you are part of a society, and it has a structure. That's why it works. It's like a machine. Every part of the machine, every gear, every cog, every sprocket has something to do. If everybody wants to be the gear and nobody wants to be the piston, or nobody wants to be the motor oil or something, then it won't work, right? So everyone has to fit into a role or a job and hold their place. And the only thing that it comes close to like what you would experience like living in Norway, ironically, because it's a peaceful society and very liberal and everything, is the military. So most of the people I know who've been successful in Norway or who've gotten along, they came from a military background. They understand these structures. They understand, there's a role, there's rules, there's things you do, things you don't do. There's a time for things, a time you don't do things. Norway, Sweden, all of Scandinavia, it's a Germanic culture. I mean, even Germany, there's a lot of rules, and everything. There's not like regulations, but it's just it's a structured society. And you'll feel that there. I mean, and for some people it gives like security and everything. It's they need that. I needed that when I moved there. I was leaving America age 2013, or in 2013 I was working for BlackRock. I had a consulting gig that held me over till I got my job. That made things much easier, financially. But I liked it. I liked even that the stoplights make this like ticking noise for blind people. Like fast ticks when you can cross and slow ticks when you wait. It's like living in Legoland or Disney World or something. It's like I said, if you were in the military, you would understand the structure. So this lady, probably what gave her the bad vibe is she doesn't like structure. And after a while, that structure used to drive me crazy, because you can't get out of your position. Once you've gotten yourself into a certain role, it's very hard to ascend a corporate ladder, especially as a foreigner. I mean, people do it, of course. People become entrepreneurs. But the norm is just to go sideways. And, it's a country for people with medium ambition, medium ability. It's just lagom. It's a Swedish term for everything is in balance, everything is chill. Trig, I think, is a Norwegian term for it. I speak I learn Norwegian and everything, but when I speak Norwegian, I speak a hybridized version of with Swedish, because I spent a lot of time in Sweden when I was on business trips, and I had a lot of Swedish colleagues and everything. So you end up getting this like, you know, Western Sweden, Eastern Norway dialect, you know, which has got a lot of Swedish words interjected. Yeah, I see where she's coming from. And that's why I went to Ukraine. Ukraine is like America. It's just free and wide open, and you know, you can just talk to anyone, anywhere, randomly. Like in Norway, they have all this like social etiquette, like, you know, you don't talk to people on a train, keep this distance, all this like unwritten stuff. Like, I don't know. It's like a military structured society. It's very clean, it's very neat, everything works on time, in order, but you can feel that. I mean, and if you weren't in the military, then it's maybe a strange feeling for you to live under structure, live in a structure. I'm just staying under the trees because it's started raining. Yeah. So that answers that question. You know, and Romania is like Ukraine. You know, it's like Poland. It's kind of like a up and coming vibe. Things are changing. You know, it's capitalistic, entrepreneurial. You know, people want to get out of their current position and rise up, and it's you know, it's fun, it's outgoing. Like, Norwegians don't talk unless they absolutely have a reason to, you know, type of thing. I mean, but like I said, you see that in the military, right? People don't say anything unless they have to. But I mean, off hours, I guess people are having a lot of fun, but it's not 100% like the military, but I think those of you get it. And then this viewer, I won't give his name and everything. He hasn't, I'd never asked his permission, but I appreciate, you know, his chats with me on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm alone with a wife and a kid, you know, and working a IT job with a bunch of Indian offshore people. So I really appreciate like good conversations, good intellectually, you know, stimulating conversations and everything. You know, outside of this whole family bubble, you know, about world politics and everything. My wife is not a politics person. You know, so we like to talk about food, health, nutrition, all this, but, you know, politics, economics are like my real thing, you know, so I have to get that from you guys, you know, to ping me. So he was asking about 70-year-old retirement in Denmark as well, Denmark raising the retirement age. This is just the beginning. All of the European countries, Western countries, everyone is getting older and few people are paying in. So it's just the math, you know, if everyone is drawing out, if 10 people are drawing out and 5 people are paying in, you know, it's going to drain the system. So they have to get it to where they have to raise the age until it's like equal amount of people paying in as equal amount of people paying out. That's really all it is. You'll see this happening in America. I mean, you can go on Social Security in America at 63, but you only get half your benefit. And if you wait till 70, I think you get like 1.2 times your benefit, but that whole thing is going to shift. I've geared my life towards taking Social Security as late as possible, because the later you do it, like I said, at that last interval, there's 3 intervals, like the early, normal, and the late. And the late interval, you get the most money. But I imagine by the time I'm in that age, it'll be like 75. Now it's 70, but I imagine that'll be pushed out. But so, yeah, that's all that is. It's and now I think we'll see this accelerate because these countries have to switch from social systems to military spending. You know, they're getting. I mean, we have Russia next door, so more military spending is going to be inevitable. I mean, it's already happening. I mean, you're seeing all the budgets and everything in Europe rise, even though they're resisting. It's quietly happening. Everyone knows that we're back in the Cold War, that this Russia thing is not a blip like this Iran thing. You know, Israel throws some missiles at Iran, Iran throws some missiles back. This will go on for a week or two, and then it's just going to die down. But this Russia attacking Ukraine, this is like a permanent thing, you know, for Europe, that Europe will never get to be friends with Russia again and never get to be normal with them again. And they're going to have to spend a ton of money on the military. That's normal. So, yeah, now what's the other thing we want to talk about? Riots in LA. Yeah, that was interesting. It turns out that was all like NGO funded, you know, by George Soros types. I mean, I've been reading a lot about that, but this is what happened. There were 118 illegal aliens who were convicted of a crime and being held in a jail. So even if they were Americans, they would have been in jail for this crime anyway. But they were illegal, so their idea was that they were convicted, and instead of tying up things in American jail, they would be deported back to their home countries instead of tying up $70,000 a year per head to jail somebody. It's quite expensive. It's like a entry-level job for a engineering grad. You know, government would be better off hiring engineering grads than keeping illegal immigrants in jail. So Trump sent immigration down to LA to pick these guys up who were already in jail and take them for deportation. And then all the liberals jump in and burn the whole city down. Over 118 guys that were in jail anyway, that were just getting transported out to make more room in the jails for Americans or somebody. I don't know, or you know, maybe they could have made the jail into a coffee shop and make money from it. I don't know. But anyway, these guys decide to burn the whole city down and throw bricks and, you know, go all Antifa, you know, which is like a disease. Antifa is like some very well-funded disease. And yeah, it was wrong, and I think the Democrats, they don't have a chance in 2028. They have blown it. So yeah, that's my comment. I mean, you guys probably know how I feel about those riots. I think Trump did the right thing. You have to, you know, the rule of law has to be protected, you know, so people have confidence to live in that place. Otherwise, everyone will start leaving LA if it turns into a jungle. It's all going to be run by cartels. And then anyway, we'll be at war there. So he was being proactive and doing the right thing, and I hope it succeeds and LA finds some peace. You know, I guess just one more comment. You know, it's like, you know, it's a culture. It's like a cultural difference. You know, I don't know. It's like we got like people here acting crazy all the time, like LA, but it's like a cultural difference between like American culture, which is like Germanic and Anglo-Saxon, you know, English-based, and Mexico, which is like a Latino, Spanish culture. You know, and I can tell you when I lived in Brazil, like for example, I'll tell you the difference between Brazil and Norway. Like in Norway, you take a number and you wait your turn in line. It doesn't matter your income, your status, how well you're dressed. You wait till your number is called and you go, and the line is burning down very efficiently. You just say what's needed to be said. You're prepared, you go. But you know, when you're in Brazil or any Latino country and stuff, you make a show. Instead of standing in line quietly and waiting your turn, it's the loudest and most obnoxious person, or the person whose father works there or uncle works there. And you know, it's always like a culture like that wants to go around the rules. There's a set established rules, and then there's like these people that make a show and want to circumvent. And that's what this illegal immigration is about. These people don't think they have to fill out papers and wait in line and wait for their case to be heard. You know, there's many other people in front of them who are there first and who are doing the process right. They think if they can be loud and obnoxious, throw bricks and rocks at people, they can get their way. You know, that's what's going on. That's the difference between America and Mexico, and difference between Latino. I only speak English.
Hein?
I only speak English.
Tu fais quoi ici dans ce parc?
I'm just
Hein, tu filmes? Ben filme-toi avant que je vais tuer ta mère ici.
Yeah, I only speak English.
Hein?
I only speak English.
Tu parles anglais?
Yeah.
Ben filme ta caméra, ensuite casse-toi chez toi.
You know, so anyway. So yeah, that's what's going on in yeah, it's like here, you know, the gangs and the, you know, people think they rule the park or something. It's a public place. I have a right to make a video. But yeah, the last things I wanted to, so yeah, that was my comment about riots in LA and what's at the core of this. This is like Spain versus England, America versus Mexico, Germany versus France, emotional culture versus law-based, rule-based culture. One is, emotions and, drive everything. Another one is like logical analysis, and you're seeing who's winning the evolution. I mean, we're here in like a French-based culture, where you have to learn all these like tricks and everything to, get things done instead of just following like a democratic process, like in Norway. But anyway, enough of that. So, Trump, the Trump drama. So yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed with this like Trump and Elon Musk thing, them fighting and everything. We don't need this. We need like the world's smartest person and the world's most powerful person, or I say, and the world's richest person, the smartest and the richest person, with the world's most powerful person working together, so that so that America is strong. Because when America is strong, all of Western civilization and democracy is strong. So yeah, it's a bit tiring. But we all knew we were getting this. We were all knew that when we voted for Trump that there would be this. And what I keep telling myself, like not many things are getting done. Like the Doge cuts, they only are putting a little bit of it into law. We all know that. But at least it's getting the momentum going in the right direction. And I think what Trump's greater purpose is to open the door for Ron DeSantis, JD Vance, Vivek Ramaswamy, Josh Hawley, and Marco Rubio. These five guys, between them be president, vice president, and these guys are the future of America. And Trump is basically like this bulldozer clearing a path for them. And we just have to deal with him, for another 3.5 years, and then we'll get like some rational leadership in the country. I mean, Trump has the right ideas. He's an idea guy, like an idealist, but execution, it's really tough with him. Yes, the ICE raids and it all blows up, but he's doing, it's all moving in the right direction. But the actual bottom line results, it's very hard to understand yet. And so he's kind of, breacher. He's like a breacher. Like, special forces, they have like one guy that puts charges on the door and blows the door, and that guy steps aside, because he's been busy doing the charges. He can't hold a weapon or anything. And, he steps aside and the rest of the team runs in, and then he comes in last once he holsters his weapon and everything. But Trump is this breacher. And, so when you're breaching and there's explosions and stuff, there's a lot of chaos. But what he's doing is he's clearing a path. And that's what Trump is doing. We're going to have a lot of hysterics and drama, him fighting with everybody. I didn't like how he was fighting with Steve Bannon in the last election. Steve Bannon got him into the White House, and next thing you know, they're fighting. And like Elon Musk got Trump into the White House, and now they're fighting. We expected all of this. But it's moving, things are moving. The results may not be there right now, but it's moving in the right direction. The reshoring of the manufacturing and all these things are being talked about. And, everything has to start with talk, and then things happen. But if you're not even talking about it, it ain't ever going to happen. So that's all I can say with that is like, let's hope we can get some actual results, for the country, get these semiconductors made back in America. And, so, yeah. Yeah, so that's all I can say about that. And I guess the last thing is like Ukraine. Always like finish off on Ukraine. It's been hell over there. We're still going back. My wife got her green card yesterday, so that's all set in motion. If you're here in Brussels and need a computer desk or a computer monitor, a trip trap stool, we have already our own trip trap stool back in Ukraine, and then I bought an extra one here. That's a Scandinavian baby high chair. It's like, I don't know, it's It's a Norwegian baby chair, and it's of course super ergonomic and healthy for the baby, and super expensive, $300 used. You know, so we're selling all that stuff off. You know, so if you're interested, you know, just ping me and, you know, we can make a deal. I'm ready to make a deal because I can't take everything back with me. You know, so yeah. So so I don't know. It still looks like, you know, with Ukraine, you know, of course Putin is asking for the Baltics now and everything, and there's some negotiations going on, and Trump is talking this, talking that, but it looks like there's a line forming. As I said, you know, when you look at the actual maps, and yes, the rocket attacks, you know, this sucks, but the Ukrainians are hitting them behind the lines. They have some leverage. I mean, Ukrainians do have leverage now, you know, because they can hit anywhere in Russia. And what I tell people, the way forward for Ukraine is they have to band together with all these ethnic minorities in Russia who are against Putin. And those guys, of course, won't speak up until they're funded and they have a safety net, you know, because they've seen what happens when you try to resist without any funding or any support. You just get your head chopped, so you have to play along. But I'm sure it exists in Russia. You know, Russia is like a conglomeration of 19 nations that were put together by force. And there's more Ukraines, basically. There's a lot of Ukraines inside Russia. All of these different republics and everything. And I don't know, the CIA, MI6, Ukrainian intelligence have to start developing this network, this fifth column. And that could be very disruptive. That could, you know, if there are attacks coming from within Russia and everything, they're going to have to divert a lot of their forces, and there's going to be a lot of paranoia and mistrust, and it'll cause a breakdown in the system. And the U.S. has to put pressure on India and China, you know, somehow to do this. There's that crazy guy who was yelling at me, but it doesn't faze me, you know, like it doesn't faze me. I mean, he's just some angry dude yelling in French all the time, and he's just trapped in the park. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. We'll see you.